Hey guys, welcome to another election prediction video, and today we're going to be discussing a couple new things I'm going to be adding to the video, a couple new features to help us predict this presidential election between the Democrat Clinton and the Republican Trump. Today we're going to start off by showing you the new feature we're going to use to help predict this, and it's a very cool site from CNN. This is the CNN Magic Wall, and if you watch the CNN coverage, you can see that the Magic Wall is basically a magic wall that they use to analyze the election and who's going to win. They have a bunch of different stuff they use for that, and today we're going to analyze a couple different things using the CNN Magic Wall. So right now we're looking at the presidential 2012 election map right now. This is what happened. Obama 51, Romney 47, and you can see the blue states, those are Democratic states, and the red states, those are Republican states, of course, that's typical. And now we're going to dig in just a little bit when I get this video started, because the Republican National Convention is coming to an end soon, then we'll have the Democratic National Convention. So Trump was announced officially last night that he was the Republican nominee, and he received enough delegates officially to be announced the Republican nominee. He's going to accept the nomination tonight, and then next week, I believe, Clinton, they'll have the delegate roll call for Clinton, and she'll officially accept the nomination for President of the United States. So that hasn't happened yet. And Clinton still hasn't picked her running mate to be her vice president if she were to win the election so far. But she's expected to announce it Friday, and a couple people include the Virginia governor, which is Tim Kaine, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Tim Kaine. And then there's Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren. And then there's a couple other people, but she's eliminated a bunch of people, including some of the Obama administration as well, that were on that list. And she's eliminated Senator Bernie Sanders from Vermont. So let's get started here, and we're going to start up here in Washington. Let's just analyze this just a bit. This is the Washington presidential election of 2012. And this is how the elections always turn out. Right here is where is the big population area. This is the population area. Just these counties along here, including Seattle, Tacoma, and down south around Vancouver, Washington. This is why the Democrats, this is traditional Democratic state. The Republicans get the rural counties, and Democrats get the urban counties. So here is where the Democrats really perform well, and of course, because they hold that so much, that is why, of course, we're going to keep Washington for Clinton. And the same exact thing happens down here in Oregon. The populated area has the Democratic vote, while the rural area, with the exception of Salem, has the Republican vote. So that's why this election, Oregon goes for the Democrats. Now moving south to California, the same exact thing happens here too. The populated along the coast goes for the Democrats, with the exception of the South, which has the highest Latino vote in California. And that is what also goes Democrat as well. So the rural areas of California go for the Republicans. So California will always go blue because of that. And moving into the traditional battleground state of Nevada, the reason the Democrats win is because they win these high Latino locations such as Clark County, Las Vegas, and Reno County, or Washoe County, which is Reno. And this rural area, this is really rural area. This doesn't have a high population. I mean, overall, this doesn't have enough electoral votes in general, which just say that there's not an extremely high population in this area anyway. Right here, you see Las Vegas has the highest population, and I just lost that. So we're gonna have to open that again. Give me just a second to open this CNN Magic Wall back up again. Now it's going to take forever to vote. Give me a second to work on this. Okay. Well, this is going to decide to be really, 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 really bad right when we're doing the video. So, is it loading? I think it's trying to load, but it also may not be. Okay. I think I should be able to use it now. No, I won't. So now it's going to ship again. I'm going to go ahead of time while this is trying to load, and I'm going to write down some information I have on Arizona here, because Arizona is an interesting state, and I wasn't going to. I looked into this just a little bit based on Arizona, because really it's a both candidate state. Either candidate could win Arizona. It's just going to be an uphill battle for Clinton, so that's negative for Clinton plus for Trump. But here's the thing about Arizona that a lot of people didn't know. I looked at the voter demographics earlier, and in 2012, the black population was lower than 4.8% in Arizona, and since then, this, based on the demographics I got from 2014, that black vote has risen by more than 20% since 2014, and in 2016, that's basically the same because they haven't redone the demographics for that yet. 30% of Hispanics in 2008 skipped voting during the primaries, which shows that the Latino vote did not vote, which was a plus for Romney. And only 16% of, and in 30% then, during the primaries, this election for the Democrats, the turnout was very large because only 16% of Hispanics did not vote, which is very low of a number compared to what happened in 2008. Even though that's changed in 2012, only 16 this election did not vote. So that's a plus for Clinton. And majority of the senior citizen vote is rural. So the senior citizens could not have a good turnout this election. Since John McCain, he was actually from what I can read, very popular in the rural parts of the state, including senior citizens. So if John McCain can influence people in Arizona at all, it is to get them to vote against Trump. Because, as you know, John McCain did not attend the Republican National Convention this year because he simply does not like Trump. And people like Romney, the Romney family, the McCain family, both Bush families did not attend the Republican National Convention this year, which actually hints non-party unity. But Arizona there, if McCain has anything to say, he can flip Phoenix by saying that Trump is not a good person, but he's got to release a lot of statements that to be released across the state of Arizona. But they know that this senator did not like Trump, so if that has any influence on the 16% of Hispanics who didn't vote in this election, if this has any effect on them, then Arizona could really go Democrat this election. A lot of people call me crazy, but this is the facts that I'm able to receive based on Arizona. So we're going to keep Arizona blue right now. I think I'm going to be able to do this. Maybe not. Maybe not. Let's hope so. Gonna pop up with the pop up. What's new? Here we go. 2012. I'll try this again. Presidential. Okay, back to Nevada. Okay, this is not being right at all. Let's go to a different state and see if it does it too. It's only getting the northern portions of the state. Okay. CNN Magic Wall is not being cooperative, which is making me really mad. I'm ticked about this. Okay, so it looks like this is going to turn out into basically just a prediction video, which I didn't want because I really wanted to analyze the data about this. But polls have showed that Trump has a very massive lead in Arizona, but it isn't the election yet, and that stands for all of these states so far. So all of these could change. Of course, I believe they will remain blue, especially these states. I think that Hillary Clinton, if she performs well here and used John McCain against Donald Trump, then this state could go blue. I do think that the battleground state of Nevada will go blue just because of what we talked about before Magic Wall froze. Reno and Las Vegas have the highest population and the highest Latino black vote. So, and Idaho, Bernie Sanders has pledged to take Idaho, but now that I see the lead that Trump has in Idaho, I think that's crazy. I don't think he can take that. Now, South Dakota, on the other hand, there's no polling out on 270 to win. Based on what I've heard, they're going to be very lenient this election on who they vote for because this is an election that fits South Dakota. But they're very high on their gun expectations. This entire area is high on their gun expectations. The entire West, because that's very high hunting types of stuff. But if Hillary Clinton can prove she doesn't want to take guns from everybody, then South Dakota could really turn out for Clinton. Montana, Wyoming, Utah, for Trump, polls show him in massive leads over all three of those states. So, including North Dakota as well. So these three states are really going to go for Trump because those leads there, and the demographics there are a lot pointing for Trump too. Now over in Colorado shows very high signs of going for Clinton. She's leading in the polls by a lot actually, and the demographics point towards her too. New Mexico, not out of ordinary, going for Clinton most likely this election. If it goes for Trump, then it's going to be a low Latino turnout, but I do think it'll go for Clinton this election. Nebraska, new polls in Kansas show Trump back in the lead, not Clinton leading by 7 points anymore. Oklahoma, and 38 good needed electoral votes in Texas. And here's an interesting fact that I wasn't able to say in my other election video. Before the 1992 election, no Democrat could win the White House without winning Texas, just like no Republican can win the White House without winning Ohio, unless they went an alternate state that's Democrat, like Washington 12 electoral votes or California 55 electoral votes. It's hard for them, but that's not out of the ordinary. Minnesota, this whole area is the Rust Belt. This is very hard because they have a lot of huge unemployment. They both pledge that they're going to make jobs, but I think Clinton has just a more specific plan on how she's going to create jobs. I think that's enough to flip this blue. I think that's enough to flip Iowa blue, even though Trump is leading in the polls in Iowa. But I don't think that does much for Missouri, Arkansas, and Louisiana. But I think it's just enough to turn Minnesota, Iowa blue, as well as Wisconsin and Michigan blue. I'm going to talk about Michigan as soon as I get to it, but I'm going to try to do much of the Deep South. and the rest of the Midwest first. Illinois, of course, will go blue. Chicago always puts it over the top. It's nothing out of ordinary. This congressional district, district number 17, always goes blue. I mean, they have a Sherry Bustos, who's Democrat, and that's actually the congressional district that I live in, District 17. It's Democrat. So, moving on, Kentucky, red, of course. I mean, Hillary Clinton can try to turn this whole area blue, which, if she did that, she would be able to probably flip most of the counties in Kentucky and turn it blue, but that would turn West Virginia, Tennessee probably blue, and probably northern portions of North Carolina blue. I don't see her turning West Virginia. I don't see her turning Kentucky, so I think she'll keep those, or Tennessee, but I think she'll keep Virginia and North Carolina, as I said in the last couple election videos. Mississippi, of course, will go red, most likely. There's some drama there that could go blue, but it'll go red. I mean, the black population there could put it over the top, but I don't think there's going to be a high enough turnout for them to go blue in this election. Alabama, same way. Alabama's going to be traditionally red again, and that's a long time that it hasn't gone blue, so it'll probably continue to go red, just like Illinois will continue to go blue, just like California, or just like Texas will continue to go red. Georgia, once again, there's some drama that could go blue because of the Never Trump movement. There's a lot of people in the Never Trump movement down in Georgia. He's leading in the polls, but they don't like Trump. He won in the primary only because Georgia is really smart when it comes to picking a nominee, because they know whether or not who can win and who can lose, and obviously they knew Trump was going to be the winner based on all the states that he had already won, and he was already leading a lot in the delegates, so they knew they're very smart in picking a nominee because they know who's going to win, they know who's going to lose. But the Never Trump movement in Georgia is just very high. In fact, I read something, 30% of Republicans in Georgia this primary election actually voted for Hillary Clinton or Bernie Sanders in this election, or they wrote in a candidate to vote for. That includes independents and such. I mean, they run their own election, but they can do that too. South Carolina is likely going to go red. I mean, all these blue states around it, I mean, they could try to encourage them to go red. Hey, Georgia blue, North Carolina blue, and Virginia blue, but I don't think they're going to have enough, because, I mean, in the urban centers in South Carolina, they have a lot of black population that say Never Trump, but a lot of the white population and white population, senior citizen population, unemployment population has a conservative agenda that they want to turn. I'm going to keep Georgia red until I get a little bit more information out of that one. That might be too close to call for most of the night, though. They might not be able to project that until they have a president called. So I'm thinking ahead to the election, but that could be too close to call for the entire night. We'll see when we get there. And I think that could be the same agenda with South Carolina if they're able to, black population is able to take over. But I don't think that's possible, because although they have a high black population, the white population in the rural areas is really going to blow out and vote for Trump. In Florida, Marco Rubio did endorse Donald Trump, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I don't think he lost his own state. He's not respected in Florida. And there's a lot of high population centers in the south part of Florida and Panhandle that went for Obama, and Obama can go right back to those. They had a love affair with Obama. They can have a love affair with Hillary Clinton too. So that would probably go Democrat, because Marco Rubio is probably hated in that state because Trump won landslide victory in Florida. So I think, and that was just the Republicans, of course, because that's just the Republicans voting. But in the election, I think we go for the Democrats. In Indiana, of course, Mike Pence is going to turn that red. Mike Pence can probably turn Ohio red. And in not Pennsylvania, in Indiana, Ohio, I think Trump can turn that red. That's part of the Rust Belt too. A lot of the job loss and such. Pennsylvania, there's a lot of talk that NAFTA could turn that red. If you don't know what NAFTA is, you can research that. That was signed by Bill Clinton, but Hillary Clinton did support it. That could turn Pennsylvania red, but I'm going to keep it blue because it's traditionally blue. Obama went for it, and he had a lot of trade agreements that could have ruined our economic system in the midst of an economic collapse in 2008 and 2012 elections for Obama. But they went blue for Obama when he had some ideas that could have rocked how the economic system went, but they still went for Obama. So we're gonna go Pennsylvania blue, of course New York blue. Trump is actually gaining in the polls in New York, but I don't think he's gonna pull it off by the time the election rolls around because there's a lot of Democratic leadership in New York. Even though he has one tower in New York, it's not gonna turn anything. But he's hired a lot of super PACs and stuff to help him win there. A lot of the Republicans, yes, will vote for Donald Trump in New York, but a lot of the Democrats, which is a lot more Democrats, hinting the very high Democratic leadership, that they will go for Secretary Clinton. Vermont blue and New Hampshire, I'm going to go blue too. Well, no, New Hampshire, I'm going to go red. It's very close in the pool. It's anybody's guess at this point who's going to win New Hampshire, but I think Trump can win New Hampshire. But I think Hillary Clinton's going to win 3 electoral votes in Maine, and the other half is probably going to be too close to call, once again, like Georgia for most of the night, but I think at the end of the night, it'll go for Trump. In Massachusetts, 11 electoral votes for Clinton, and most of this coastline goes for Clinton all the time. So that'll probably all go Clinton. And Alaska, this is really close in the polls. Surprisingly, Alaska is very close in the polls. They have a lot of Republican leadership, but lately they've been turning it up and getting independents in office there in Alaska. So I think they're in the midst of transitioning to a more solid blue state. I mean, not solid blue state, leans blue state, but we're gonna set that there just for the heck of it. And Hawaii always goes blue. That will never go Republican. No. Don't matter what you tell me, they will not go for the Republicans ever. But now back to this Michigan area. It's part of the Rust Belt, and I think that could go red. I really do. I think that could go red. There's no doubt about it because that's close in the polls too. Some polls are have them both way below the 50% limit, which that's uncertainty. That's toss up because that state cannot be guessed at this point. But I'm gonna guess it blue. It's anybody's guess. But once again, the Republicans can't win Ohio. Can't win an election without Ohio. We're going to turn all these states that are leading in the polls, whatever color leading in the polls. But once again, Ohio's leading blue in the polls and such. But we're going to turn this back to what I had here. But anyway, Ohio is not going to play anything for Trump this election because I think Hillary Clinton can have a massive lead, 338 to 200 here. And that's because of the new states that I've added to the predictions, and that is Arizona and South Dakota. Iowa as well, and adding Pennsylvania back in the blue column. And here's the thing. If this is Hillary Clinton's VP choice is going to affect her more than it affected Trump after he picked Pence, because Elizabeth Warren is on the VP list, and she's very popular in the Northeast. And if she's vice president, then she has a better chance at winning the one extra electoral vote in Maine, winning New Hampshire, winning Pennsylvania, and she may even get a shot at winning the most populated parts of Ohio as well. That is if she picks Elizabeth Warren. If she picks Tim Kaine, or I think that's his name. I'm pretty sure that's his name. She could win West Virginia. She could win South Carolina at the most. Once again, that is if she picks Virginia for vice president there. Now, out here, I know that there's there's a VP pick here in Florida from Latino population, of course. But if that were the choice, I think she could really turn that state. I think she could turn this state. I think she could turn That's about it. But I think she could turn 2 states, and that is Georgia and Texas. That's only if she campaigned very hard there. Anyway, so 338 to 200 is my map right now, and she could really try to pick somebody for VP who is from up here somewhere, in this area. She could take these states right there. Probably not Indiana, Idaho. I mean, that's if she picks somebody from up there, but I don't think she will. I think she's gonna pick Elizabeth Warren for the most part. It wouldn't be bad to have Cory Booker either. He could really turn the Northeast too. He's popular up in that area. Popular in the state he's from, and I think that's not sure where that. Connecticut, maybe New Jersey. Maybe I think it's New Jersey. I think he's from New Jersey, and I think that's not going to affect her at all if she picked Cory Booker. But because I've heard that Bernie voters would really like for Clinton to pick Elizabeth Warren because that's what they agree with. Elizabeth Warren has a very, very strict policy against the big banks. I think if she could have endorsed Sanders, she probably would have endorsed Sanders. But she's very close with Clinton. She's worked with Clinton, and I think that's why the endorsement occurred. But once again, 338 to 200. I wanted to try to pull that magic wall again to show off the cool features that has. Magic wall. I don't think it'll work because it's going to be really that stupid the rest of the day until I freaking end this broadcast, but we'll try it just for the fun of it. Yeah, I know already. It's going to go bad, so I'm not going to try it. Well, that's going to end off this live broadcast today. This was the election video. Once again, 338 to 200 was the electoral value there. There's the map, and I'm going to let that map sink in for a second. And I'm going to shut off my mic so you can observe the map and enjoy the map, and I'll shut the broadcast off in about a minute.